telling this story isn't easy because you recoil in horror from it and you think, that's crazy. It should never have happened. Why didn't they stop?
I think the poet Siegfried Sassoon explained it best when he said, I died in hell, they call it Passchendaele.
Passchendaele was a complete massacre, was a complete defeat, the biggest military defeat New Zealand ever had in its military history.
The Battle of Passchendaele stands with those at the Somme, Messines and Gallipoli as one of the major and most terrible conflicts of World War I. For New Zealand, this conflict was also the most devastating.
My father was thrown into the front trenches with just a pick and a shovel to defend himself, and he was shelled and bombed and shelled, and then to find out what the Maoris were actually there doing. They were cleaning up the carnage, they were reconstructing the trenches, they were the workhorses of the New Zealand infantry, and that I found disturbing. That was another very emotional moment.
From a tactical point of view, Passchendaele 1917 is a failure. It's obvious. If you fight 100 days for a gain of terrain of only 8 kilometers and 500,000 men are dead, wounded or missing, you can hardly claim this is successful.
90 years ago, ordinary men showed extraordinary courage at this very place. Among them were farmers, lawyers, plumbers, All Blacks, Kiwis from all walks of life. Many were so young that the army was the first real job they ever had.
Before he'd come here, he'd been a Maori All Black. He was very physical. He was extremely good at what he did, and all that was taken away from him.
I actually had a relative who fought here and who lost his life, unfortunately.
For New Zealand, the 12th of October 1917 at Passchendaele ranks as our worst ever military disaster in terms of lives lost on a single day.
In 4 hours' time, New Zealand forces lost 2,700 men by trying to capture the Bellevue Heights, and it never worked. They were just slaughtered.
Gallipoli had foretold that this wasn't going to be an easy war, that if we were serious about beating Germany, then it had a cost. And we paid for that in spades here at Passchendaele.
The Battle of Passchendaele was a debacle. I mean, it was a morass of manifold terror. They fought, it was a war of implemented technological barbarity. They fought in a completely denatured environment infused with the smell of cordite, stench of mud, death and putrefaction.
The British military historian, Sir Barry Little Hart, wrote of the Passchendaele campaign that it was so fruitless in its results, so depressing in its direction, that it has come to be a synonym for military failure.
In some way, it was a waste as a battle, but in the long term, they contributed to restore our freedom and democracy. So it was a waste of lives in that battle, but if that battle had not been done, how would the war have ended then? And what with our country, what with our people? The world could have looked different if Passchendaele had not been conducted.
The fact that 100,000 New Zealanders went away from an eligible male population of 240,000 was the largest touring party wearing the silver fern that's ever gone anywhere. And they had their triumphs and disasters. And that impacted on us as a community, as a people, and those impacts make us who we are today. And if we don't understand why people found themselves here and went forward here, then we don't understand something about ourselves, and we'll make those mistakes again.